all together now. Daily jam, daily jam. If you've not been on my Instagram for the last 2 Decembers, that will mean nothing to you, but hang on in there. You'll soon catch up. Hey there, welcome back to the Cozy Corner of Craft. My name is Hannah. I hope that you're well. Today I'm going to be talking with you about the 2026 Chromatic Yarns Advent Calendar. Hooray! Hooray! How exciting! I'm very excited. This year will actually be my 7th year doing an Advent Calendar, which is wild to think about. So much yarn twisting, so many hours of yarn twisting have been put into it, but it's always worth it. This year's theme is jam. I know. We have a daily jam. We have a weekly jam. It will make sense in just a minute. If you've been following my Instagram stories for the last 2 Decembers, you may have seen that my husband very lovingly gifts me a Bon Maman, the jam company, advent calendar. I love it. It's amazing. I first got it 2 years ago because we thought my daughter had a dairy intolerance, so I'd given up dairy. Not in solidarity, I was breastfeeding her. So I'd given up dairy because she was exclusively breastfeeding before she was weaning, or before she'd eaten any food. It turns out she didn't have an allergy at all. She was just a bit of a refluxy burpy baby. But I gave it up for very strictly for 4 months. Bit intense. Anyway, I'm very much a sweet tooth. I'm very much a chocolate fiend, and I was very sad to not be able to have a normal advent calendar. So I was delighted to discover the Bon Maman advent calendar, and I could have most of them because all of the jams don't have dairy in. I just couldn't have some of the spreads. So I started to post every morning in December about the jam that I got in my advent calendar. I was quite deep in the depths of postpartum depression, I think. I don't really know. And I was just trying to find any little thing to get me through the day. And honestly, daily jam helped a ton. So I made up a stupid little jingle. And I read the label in French, and then I use my degree. I have a French and German degree. I use my degree to translate it. It's the only thing I use my degree for now. And then I taste the jam and let you know how it tastes. It's just on Instagram stories. They only last 24 hours. I don't do it on Reels. I don't do it on TikTok because I don't feel like it needs to exist for longer than 24 hours. But it's just something I film very quickly in the morning, and it's nice. It's a lovely tradition. Good morning and welcome to today's edition of Daily Jam, in which I share with you the jam that I received in my Bon Maman advent calendar. So spoilers for day 5, the 5th. Today's jam is guava. So this year we are doing a daily jam advent calendar and also weekly jam. But we'll start with the daily. Yarn advent calendar is, at least my yarn advent calendar is 24 20-gram skeins of yarn. They will all be on my sturdy sock base, which is 75% superwash blue face Leicester. I should definitely know off the top of my head. 25% nylon, and that's the only base you can get. I know people offer a variety of bases. I know some of you like merino more. That's fine. Please go and find someone who is selling merino. I'm not that somebody. I'm doing blue face Leicester because I love that yarn base. You have the choice to add on a 100-gram skein if you would like to. And this year, for the first time in a few years, I'm actually going to do sort of a gradient fade. I haven't done one in a while. I've only done one gradient fade advent before. This one. This was my 2023 advent. But usually I go more random because but this year I felt like a fruity fade fit the general theme best. We are starting out with our yellow and oranges. So we've got sort of, I might dip in, we've got like lemon curd, we've got lemon marmalade, we've got yuzu, I guess, that's also yellow, moving into sort of apricot-y colours, moving into oranges, moving into more peachy tones, sort of pinky orangey tones, and then moving into sort of reddy pinky tones, and then red with our berries and the strawberries and the raspberries. I guess raspberries a bit more pinky. Moving into kind of like loganberry, blackberry, ending in sort of like a deep blackcurrant colour. So we're starting at yellow and we're ending at sort of almost a blackish purple. And that's the kind of scope I'm hoping to span over the 24 colours. How exciting. This is not just, it's not going to be like a really seamless, smooth fade. That's not my kind of vibe. I will be doing a mix of semi-solid and variegated and speckled colourways. I've ordered the yarn to do a trial run in the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited about. And I love dyeing speckled yarn. I love dyeing variegated yarn. And that's the kind of thing I want to go for. I kind of want you to open it every day and think, ooh, how exciting. Instead of, okay, yeah, fine. I kind of knew that was the next colour. Because, yeah, I don't want you getting bored with my Advent. The Advent is not changing price this year. I haven't upped it for the last 3 years, so it's just going to stay the same. Because I know that they are a luxury product. I know that they are quite expensive. I'm also very aware of how much work goes into an Advent because I'm the one that does all the work. So it is going to be £150. If you want to add on the 100 gram skein, it is £170. You can pay in instalments, you can pay all at once. How the instalments work is you pay a deposit and then it's a non-refundable deposit, and then I will invoice you 4 weeks after the Advents go on sale. And then I will invoice you again 4 weeks after that. And then all invoices need to be paid by the end of August. Because how I send you the invoice is I add the next instalment to your order. If you don't pay the first instalment before I send the second instalment, you'll have to pay those two together. It's just how it works. You don't have to pay any extra or anything if you're choosing to pay in instalments. I always feel uncomfortable doing that. I know that technically it costs me a little bit more to do instalments than not, because one, not only is it more work, but two, you get charged per transaction. So yes, the percentage taken might be slightly higher, but I don't think it's worth charging you more. That feels icky. That feels really icky. I will also be having a weekly Advent as well as a daily Advent. So we are having a weekly jam. You'll receive 4 sock sets, and you can have these on any base. The sturdy sock base, 75% superwash blue face leicester, 25% nylon. Merino sock base, which is 85% merino, 15% nylon. Or my sparkle sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 5% lurex. You'll receive a 100 gram skein and then also a 20 gram mini skein to make your sock sets. This is also jam themed, but is not going to work alongside the fade. It's separate. Weekly jam is separate to daily jam. It's just easier that way. So you're going to get 4 different colorways, and they're not going to, for example, I haven't looked up what days Sundays are in December. So let's say the 6th is a Sunday. It's not going to fit in the fade between day 5 and day 7. It's completely separate. And we're going with botanical jams for the weekly jams, which will be very exciting. I'm thinking like a pinky, they'll all be variegated, and then a semi-solid mini skein. Like pinky for rose jam, and like a greeny yellow for elderflower, and then like lavender, so purpley tones, and then hibiscus, which is like a pinky red, as opposed to the rose, which will be paler, just so you get a general gauge as to the thought process that's happening. The weekly Advent calendar you can either pay in full or in instalments, and they are £100. You'll get some little extra goodies in with both the daily and the weekly Advent. And yeah, right, the important news. These Advents go on sale on Friday, the 8th of May at 4 p.m. BST, UK time, British summer time. And if you are in the chai latte or biscuit brew tier over on Patreon, you will get early access, which means you'll be able to grab your Advent 24 hours before anyone else. And so, yeah, that's very exciting. That will be available on Thursday, the 7th of May at 4 p.m. BST. So, jazzed. Very jazzed. I'm so excited. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below and I will answer them for you. If you want to have a look at what last year's Advent looked like, it's not a fade and is a very different vibe to what this year's is, but just so you get a general overview. I know, I have a problem. I hoard my own Advents. I've got another one somewhere. The Muppets Christmas Carol one is somewhere, but I don't know where that's gone. But this was last year's. Very much not a fade. Very different vibe to this year's. And I have every intention of knitting something with... Oh, got a bit of fluff on it. Every intention of knitting something with it, but time escapes me all the time. I know that that buying an Advent calendar is a risk, and every year we hear... Horror stories feels a bit dramatic, but we hear stories of people who haven't, dyers, who haven't fulfilled their end of the contract being you purchasing something from us. So, full transparency, this is my 7th year doing it. I have always shipped Advents by the end of October. I think. I'm pretty sure all Advents have shipped by the end of October. Weekly Advents, I might have sent some UK ones in November. But I always try to have daily Advents shipped by the middle of October. Even when I had a newborn strapped to my chest when I was packing Advents, I still made sure I did it on time. So, in a scenario where I don't think I can fulfill your orders on time, I will I will email everyone and give you all the option of a refund. I do ship internationally. I do add on the 10% tariff for shipping to the US, for selling to the US. If you use a VPN, if you have a VPN on your browser, it will not add the tariff charge. And if I note that you are in the US and you haven't got the tariff charge on your order, I will invoice you for the tariff charge because I have to pay it. And if I have to pay it, unfortunately, you also have to pay it, but it is 10%. So incorporate that into your pricing. If you are buying the daily and the weekly Advent, please buy them in 2 separate orders. And if you're buying an Advent, please buy it on its own. I've calculated the shipping for the cost of the Advent on its own. All Advents are packed in little stripy paper bags. I've got a sticker on the front with the number on, and then I pack that inside a cellophane bag, and then that goes in a paper envelope. I don't do any fancy boxes. I don't do any fancy packaging. I know that it does add to the experience, and I know that a lot of dyers do, and I do think it looks beautiful. I do think it makes it really special, but that one of the reasons I can keep my Advents the same price year after year is because I try to keep my packaging somewhat cheap. And also, as someone who has received a beautiful box before, what am I going to do with it afterwards, you know? So there's only so many of them you can have, and so many other dyes do it. The cellophane bag is compostable, the paper bags are recyclable, paper envelope is recyclable, and that's what I choose to package mine in. And the 100 gram skein and all of the weekly Advents I gift wrap them all individually. It takes ages, but it's worth it. I've already found the wrapping paper. I'm excited. I need to order it soon so I don't forget. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them down below or check the comments to see if somebody else has asked them. I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here and thank you for being you. And I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye.